Have you ever feared hiring somebody or outsourcing a task for fear that they aren't going to do the same job as you? In this video, I'm going over 3 outsourcing tips, tricks, and tools every medical professional needs so that they can get more freedom in their practice. Well, good day there, friends. This is Tom Jackobs. Thank you for stopping by the channel. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about presentation, performance, and profits. And I go into all different aspects of sales, public speaking, and business management so that ultimately your business gets better and you make more profits and help more people. To get notified every time a new video is published, then just go ahead and hit the little subscribe button right there. I do publish every Tuesday and Friday at 12 noon Eastern time, so you can look out for new videos every single week. I also publish on my blog, so you can check out those links down below. So let's get into why would you outsource in the first place? It's a conundrum, right? You have all these tasks, and let's just focus on phone calls, the follow-up, follow-through process. New leads are coming into the business, and you or your staff is struggling keeping up with the volume of calls and the follow-up necessary to get people to register for either a webinar or come in for a discovery call, that initial sales consultation. And you want more control of that, yet you don't have the time and the resources to be able to do it all. And so it's taken away a lot of that freedom in your practice and weighing on your head, like, well, do I outsource that? And what if they don't do as good a job as our staff? You can certainly hire somebody in-house to do it for you. And that would mean going through the hiring process, training them, supervising them, making sure that they have the scripts in place, taking care of days off, scheduling. Are they going to work 5 days a week, 6 days a week? What are the times that they're going to be available to make those phone calls or respond to inquiries? All of that needs to be taken into account. When you take it to an outsource agency, you don't have to worry about any of that. All of that is taken care of for you because that's part of the service that an outsource agency does for you. Now, I'm not pushing you to do outsourcing, even though I do have a call center that outsources these type of activities. But I am saying that it is an option to really consider, and a lot of the fears associated with outsourcing aren't really all that relevant these days. The first hurdle that you have to overcome is really your mindset, that only you can do the job and nobody else can do it as good as you. Well, in reality, you're the business owner. Of course, you're going to do it the best. You're the most vested in your business. And it doesn't matter if you're outsourcing it or you're hiring somebody else, they are not you. So you have to give up some control. You have to allow that new employee or the outsource agency to do their job and to grow into and learn how to represent you the best way possible. And if you want to grow, if you want to scale, if you want to help more people and make more money in your business, you are going to have to release some of that control, and you're going to have to get other people to help you. Certainly, I've found in my own brick and mortar businesses and online businesses that a lot of times the employees can do a much better job than I could in the first place. So why not get them to do it? So I have a quick question. Have you ever feared hiring somebody? And how did you get over it? I want to know. Just post those comments down below for me. And I was really fearful of hiring my very first employee until my coach said, you have to hire somebody. You can't do everything. I mean, think about it. You're answering the phones, you're training people, you're rearranging schedules, you're doing contracts, getting people's files together. And it was like I was a slave to the business. I was tied to it. And I was there 15 hours a day. I couldn't leave because the business was open from 5 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. And literally, I had to be there the entire time because if I left, there was nobody there to take care of the business if the phone rang or somebody came in. And it was becoming quite the nightmare for myself. I mean, at times I would lock the door and take a little nap in the back room. Don't tell anybody that I actually did that. So finally, I was like, well, maybe I should hire somebody to do some of these tasks and maybe give me a break throughout the day. But can I afford the $10 an hour for 20 hours a week? And like look back now, I'm like, how ridiculous of a conversation that was in my head. $10 an hour, 20 hours a week, I could get 20 hours a week back, right? For $200. I bit the bullet and I hired Breck. He was my very first administrative assistant and was amazing. But of course, I was very fearful. The first task that I gave him was to organize my office because it was literally a mess. It looked like a bomb had gone off in it. And it was a little embarrassing because I would do sales consultations in there and there'd be papers all over the place. So I gave him this task to fix up my office, to organize it, to make it look like it was a legitimate office, while I ran to the bank and did some errands and probably went and took a nap as well. And when I came back, I was amazed. I mean, everything was lined up. It was stacks of paper were organized. They were in folders. It was a beautiful thing to look at. And I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. But is it worth $200 a week to have an organized office? Well, as the week progressed, he was taking more and more responsibility, answering phones, scheduling appointments, putting together gift baskets for our new clients, all sorts of little touches that I always wanted to do, but never had the time to do it. And what was pretty amazing is that at the end of the week, I realized that I had signed up 5 new clients for a total revenue of $11,300. Now, I didn't sign up those clients because of Breck. I signed up those clients because I had now the time freedom to be doing other higher level work like marketing, like networking, doing more sales consultations. And it was amazing how that shift of time actually happened. That the higher level work that I needed to do to grow the business, because the lower level work, which was urgent things, but it was like treading water. It wasn't really helping me grow the business. And it was definitely something that I could outsource to somebody else to do. $200 and I made $11,300. Pretty amazing return on investment, right? So I share that story with you in hopes that it illustrates why it's important to look at what tasks can be outsourced so that you can do higher level work and do what you need to do to be the business owner of the business. I mean, even looking at that follow-up, follow-through process of making phone calls, leaving voicemail messages, when somebody calls back, answering the phone, responding to those voicemail messages that they leave, and just all that whole phone tag and trying to get people scheduled for consultations. It can take a lot of time to do all of that stuff. And that would be a really good first thing to outsource because it seemingly has low value, but if it's not done, then you're not booking consultations. I mean, imagine waking up on Monday morning, your calendar is full of consultations, and you didn't lift a finger to get them onto your calendar. It really can be that simple. In fact, I've created a little PDF, so if you want to hire somebody and do it all in-house, you can do that. But I've put together the follow-up, follow-through process. I'll put a link down below in the comment section so that you can grab that and follow that whole process. It's what we do in the call center. It gives you the first 3 days so that you can get an idea of kind of the cadence of making those phone calls and doing the follow-up. Ultimately, it's taking about 8 to 10 touches to get somebody to even answer their phone and get an answer whether they're interested or not. I mean, one reason that people don't outsource is that this whole nationalistic idea that we can't send jobs overseas. The reality is the labor is less expensive. It's just as educated, efficient, and motivated to do a great job for you. The other thing that I hear quite a bit is, well, what about the accent? I'm thinking about this and I'm like, you know what, have you ever spent any time in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami? I mean, you walk down the street, not only are you hearing different accents, you're hearing different languages as well. I mean, I get that objection because we've all been on the phone call to the bank or the insurance company that's outsourced to another country, and we're speaking to Bob, whose name clearly isn't Bob. And he's trying to get us to do something and just not listening. And then the first thing that goes to our head is, oh, this accent, this person they're uneducated. They have this huge accent and they're not doing what I want them to do, or they're not fixing my problem. And the key there is that they aren't listening, that they're just following a rote script and it's not having a human conversation with you. One thing when you are looking to outsource is that you want to make sure that the call agents really do care about what they're doing and who they're talking to. And while it's important to have the call scripted for consistency of language, you also want to have a real conversation so that the agent is actually listening and responding appropriately to what the person is saying. It's having a human conversation. When you do that, the accent kind of goes away, because now you're like, oh, this person could be my friend from down the street that's from a different country. It really doesn't matter what the accent is. It matters, are they listening and are they responding appropriately, or are they just following a script and being robotic about it? You can have the time freedom, you can have the cost savings of sending those lower value tasks away from your office, and trust that the company that's taking care of it has your best interests at heart. So here are my 3 tips to make sure that when you outsource, it's a successful experience for you and for the outsource agency. First of all, you have to trust that the company has your best interests at heart. If automatically you feel like there's this push and pull or a conflict from the start, it's probably not going to get better as you move forward. If you are ultimately untrusting of the job that they're going to do for you, or you feel like they're just not going to do it, then I wouldn't go into that arrangement at all and find a different company to help you out. Or look at hiring in-house. Now, when you do hire in-house, you still have to train them, supervise them, and potentially paying them $15 an hour for 10 hours a week, and which is only 10 hours a week and not during the normal call times, right? So you're spending, $150, was that $300, $600 a month for somebody to work 40 hours. And when you outsource to another company, you're creating a partnership. They're becoming the partners in your business and an extension of your business. So you want to make sure that you go into that relationship thinking of this as a partnership. The second thing that you need to be looking at is, do they understand your business? Now, when you hire an outsource agency that actually niches down into a specific industry, well, that's going to be a lot easier, because now that's kind of who they work with. So the agents can actually have that real conversation with the people that they're calling, because now they understand exactly what's kind of the language and everything that the client does. They really get into that whole industry. I mean, think about this. I mean, when you hire an agency that is niched into a specific industry, into your industry, they're ready to go straight away. There's no kind of ramp up like there would be if you're hiring somebody in-house, where you have to train them, get them to understand kind of what you do, how you do it, all of that. I mean, that can take 2 weeks to a month, depending on the employee and how much time that they're giving you. So having an outsource agency that actually kind of gets that from the start will make that onboarding process a lot faster and a lot easier. And the third thing that you want when you are hiring an outsource agency is you want to make sure that there's good reporting, that there is transparency in terms of what they are doing for you, so you can see and have that level of comfort that you are getting the type of work out of them that you have contracted for. Like, for instance, I give a real-time dashboard. When leads come into our system, it's reported on this sheet. And then when the first call is made, it's tagged onto that lead. So now my clients are able to see, okay, this lead came in at this time, and then the first call went out at this time. So there's a comfort level there in terms of what's going on with their leads. And we'll update that to show what stage each one of those leads are in. So again, our clients can log right in, they can see what's going on, and they can have a comfort level that what they've contracted us to do is what we're actually doing. So when you're looking at an outsource agency, make sure that they have some reporting available to you so that you know exactly what's going on with the tasks that you've outsourced to them. And there you go, the 3 tips, tricks, and tools every medical professional needs to outsource effectively. And when you go into this, all 3 of these tips and tricks is all about creating that partnership and that trust with each other. That's going to make the relationship so much stronger. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, just give it a thumbs up, make some comments down below. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I've also put a couple more videos up here, right here and here, so that you can see other education that I post up here on the channel. Go ahead and peruse some of the playlists as well. So until next time, you have a great day.